We
Doesn't it sync
are
itself?
inside you. Yeah, it does. I think. Maybe.
You're welcome.
Kind of. And it's always a tiny bit off. It's always like, you're like, whenever I download all the tracks and stuff from this, you're always like just a hair off, and I have to separate all the audio tracks and just slight hair off. Woo. Welcome,
dude.
Back to the Obscure Hotline.
Welcome.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody?
So, well, I guess we can do introductions. I don't feel like we really need to, but I'm Bronson from the Audio Hotline.
I am El Barco from Obscurio Mykios.
Word.
Yes.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, do you notice? I kind of think that this is a constant theme. Like longer form content, like the longer you go, the better chance your audio getting out of sync is. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah. Depending, like I feel like that's isn't that a thing with 16-bit? Like if you record in 16-bit 44.1, eventually it'll drift. Isn't that a thing?
I think
I feel
that's
like
there might be
24-bit
something like that. I can't remember.
I feel like 24-bit's a lot
way.
more foolproof. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I know it's so interesting because, I mean, so what I've been using recently, I guess we can talk about what we're using right now if you want to get it out of the way, and then I can kind of
heroin.
talk about it. Yeah, is that why you're yawning all the fucking time? Ready to go bed?
I just want to play some Smells Like Teen Spirit, man. Branson. I've called you Branson. Tell you what now, Branson.
Branson, Missouri.
Charles Branson.
Jalen Brunson. Yeah. Branson, Missouri. Bronson, Audio Hotline.
Is that the Knicks player? Is that the Knicks player you just mentioned?
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson? Yeah. Brunson. Or
Branson.
Roy Munson from Kingpin.
Oh, dude. There's so many. Dude, Kingpin is underrated.
Oh, absolutely. Kingpin's fantastic.
Very underrated. I think that Woody Harrelson is like top 3 favorite actor for me. Yeah, he's great.
A king amongst men. I just watched Semi Pro the other day. I don't know if you've seen Semi Pro or not.
Yeah.
It's
I actually
Will Ferrell and Woody.
Yeah, I have Woody Harrelson's jersey from that movie.
Oh, that's
like
great.
Not the literal one, you know what I mean? But like I have I have that jersey.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I'd love to have that.
Sick, dude.
Me and Bronson, we're gonna love you sexy. Dude, won't you put your headphones on? Let us love you sexy. Dude, Get the funk out of my face. Get the funk.
The funk out of my face. Dude, that's the best, man.
Great movie.
And then Bruno Mars basically went and stole it and was like, Funk Town or Funk You Up or whatever, dude. What a fucking asshole. But
not cool, Bruno.
No. But that's one thing I've noticed about that movie, and I'm trying to think of what the other movie is. There's a couple. Oh, it was Tropic Thunder for me. Those two movies in particular, God. I watched them the first time, and I was like, I don't think I like these. And then I watched them like 2 or 3 more times, and I was like, these are like amazing. These are like fantastic. Yeah. It's almost like they age better, where some like Will Ferrell movies kind of age poorly, you know.
Yeah, well, that was one of Will Ferrell's raunchier ones too. Like my favorite part of that whole movie is whenever Will Ferrell tells the sports anchor guy on their talk show, TV show, like the guy with the glasses that's kind of older. Will Ferrell's like, let's go get some pussy. And he's like, no. And he's like, no, come on. You know you want to. Well, okay, let's go get some pussy. You know, it's classic. But you mentioned Tropic Thunder, and I got to get this out real quick.
Robert Downey Jr.
Dude, that didn't age that well because of, just the state of the world. Yeah. But for me, I still watch that movie every chance I get. Well, but I saw...
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll finish up on this thought. I saw a YouTube video the other day of someone playing with one of those teenage electronic synthesizers, like the fucking expensive one. You know what I'm talking about? Little, looks like a white keyboard. And they were creating a song and of course, you know, it was like kind of trippy, trip hop kind of, and it was like, I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. I know who I am. And it was the best video of all time. Like, I watched it over and over because he was just playing this sick beat to, I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. It's like, fuck, this is great.
Dude,
like, this
that's
is
hilarious.
If Peaches from Super Mario can get on the top 10 or whatever, that song should too.
Yeah. No,
what are
that's
you
fair.
using?
I was going to, yeah. I think the only thing that saves Robert Downey Jr. in that movie is that the other African-American guy, like, calls him out the whole time. If there wasn't that, not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still not good, but you know what I mean. But so
but man, that's just part of it, you know? Like somebody going to a Halloween party like that, like a normal everyday, this is a movie. It's comedy. And I've always said comedy should have a little less restriction on cancel culture.
Yep.
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I mean,
if
like,
someone out there is offended, I get it. I'm sorry for liking it if someone's offended by the movie, but man, it cracked me up when I first saw it. It was great.
Yeah. No, I think that's kind of the whole point of comedy in a lot of ways, is pushing a boundary one way or another, no matter what. Because, like, if you're just talking about shit, like, I mean, like, and I just mean that even whether it's like an exaggeration or like whatever it is, it's about pushing a boundary, you know? So I'm like, you gotta, like, comedians, I do think, they have to have a little bit more leeway, but obviously if they're being pieces of shit in real life, then, like, you know, call them out and stuff. But I do think, like, there are jokes that absolutely go too far, but I think that we need to chill a little, you know, but
I'm always on the fence on Dave Chappelle because it's like he probably takes it a little too far with the train stuff, and but my God, but see, and then the magic of that is like the way he ends it. But like the way he ends it is like his heart's in the right place. But leading up to that, like he's totally using that community for a laugh, which it's a weird balance. But real quick, what's more offensive in Tropic Thunder, Robert Downey Jr. or Ben Stiller as Simple Jack?
I think that
I mean, which is worse?
I'm gonna take it that Ben Stiller's more offensive, in my opinion.
Okay,
like, I think so, but because, like I said, because there's someone there of that ethnicity, like, keeping Robert Downey Jr. in check the whole time and calling him out on how ridiculous he is, whereas, like, the other one's just, like, blatantly bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. Like, there's no balance to it, is what I'm saying. Well, I guess aside from when Robert Downey Jr. literally says the R word and says you never go full, you know, like, I guess aside from that, there's no real balance of it, you know, like, but even that's offensive. So, I mean, like, I think that's the more offensive thing. But
I'll tell you what gets me is, like, that comes under some scrutiny when it's talked about. And you know what I never hear scrutiny about that really pushes the boundaries and, like,
what's that?
Just goes for it. And maybe it's just because it's animated, but like Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show, like, that shit goes fucking hard. And Cleveland's voiced by a white guy. I mean, it's that shit goes hard, but nobody says shit. I don't know if it's because it's animation or what, but that's always been confusing to me.
That's very true, dude.
It's still voice acting. There's still people behind those characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole thing also, is like, do you get mad at Robert Downey Jr. for taking a part, or do you get mad at the person that wrote it? You know, it's kind of hard to, like,
right.
You know, it's kind of the whole, that's difficult. But,
and to be fair, like, I don't remember anyone complaining about that movie when it came out.
I don't
because
either,
we weren't being pulled in two directions by two political parties to, like, automatically hate one side or the other. Like it was a lot more lax. Whether that's right or wrong that it was more lax is another question, but I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, dude, that is interesting. I mean, I think that being lax in general is always better, but I think that knowing where the line is and like obeying that line and like being considerate of that like is important, but I guess that you can't have that unless you call it out, you know? So it's a double-edged sword, man. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's
tricky.
But
tricky. What do you now? What are we using equipment wise? Unless you had more thoughts, by all means, add them.
No, we went pencil condenser microphones today, and it's mainly because like I've had this microphone for quite a while, and I think I used it in like 2 videos, just like as like a side little part. It wasn't really like talking about this microphone at all, but a lot of people like rant and rave about this microphone as like the cheaper alternative MKH 50 microphone. It's the Oktava MK012, I think is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the MK012-01, but this is the filmmaker edition. It's the hypercardioid. And let me just tell you, dude, when we plugged up and I started talking and I didn't have this pop filter up, I like put a little bit of air toward it, a little bit, and it was like, I was like, oh no, gotta be careful with that.
Hence the reason I'm doubled up on my pop protection.
Yeah. No, that's a good call. Yeah.
Here's what we do though, Bronson. Ready? This is the proper way now.
Dude, yeah. So I didn't know. I don't know if anyone knows this. Cheek. Yeah, your butt cheek. You got to point it at your butt cheek because this sounds great.
No 90 degree, just this.
This only like you can literally hear like basically no treble from my voice right now. It's just all bass, baby. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
That's because Bronson's trying to love you sexy.
Love you sexy. Dude, and hey, maybe there's something to it.
I don't know, man.
But,
maybe there is,
not.
but you're losing some frequencies somehow. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely. So my argument has always been that, and like people, like you can go ahead and argue with me on this if you want to, but
people love to do that with us.
Yeah. Depending on your polar pattern, I think that if you are talking directly into a microphone with like a pop filter versus like putting it to the side like this with a pop filter, like obviously the area of like, you know, where it actually, the area of sensitivity and everything, like it'll grab it, but I still, like if I'm talking into it like this, there is an inherent difference in my opinion versus what I'm doing now.
Absolutely.
Like,
yes.
So take that one step further and I'm like, yeah, like it's going to get even more like this.
It's more muffled already.
Yeah, it's like this versus this. And it's just like, it's obvious. It's just silly. It's silly shit.
You're slowly going from this and then you risk a little bit of it going 90 degrees because you don't want to pop it. And it still sounds good in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fine.
But then you're going lav mic levels. Then you're going lavalier levels of under chin noise blockage. And I just don't think it's a good idea. But I keep seeing all these people talking into microphones like this, even some with channels that are doing really well. And I'm like, what's going on? Trying not to be judgy, but what's going on?
You know, I think it's this. I think it's which I mean, like, I think that we're all a little bit guilty of it. I think it's the cool factor. I think it's the fact, not that talking into a side of a microphone looks cool, but I think it's the fact that they're like, I don't want a windscreen on and I don't want a pop filter on. I'm going to use a very highly sensitive microphone when it comes to air. And then I'm just going to, instead of using a pop filter and making this image look like shit, I'm just going to I'm just going to point at the side of my face. I'm like, hey, boom it over your head, jackass. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
something.
Boom it. You know, like.
Audio elitist to hear.
But then I'm like, but then you'll actually get that, like those treble frequencies back and it'll actually sound right. And you can like get it up a little bit or even down, even point point it up
if
towards
you've got
you, man.
if you've got a clear path of sound, but if you decide to put any skin flaps directly in front of the thing,
Yeah.
it's gonna, it's gonna do something. I don't know.
Skin flaps, dude. I've never been able to master that. Just only been able to bait it. But only other thing...
I was going to say my buddy Cardell used to work construction, and anytime him and another guy were working in a bathroom, Cardell would go, and somebody would be like, what the fuck? They think that he's shit in the toilet.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Oh, man. That is a great sound. Oh, yeah. So using the Oktava Telefunken cable as kind of usual. And then I'm using the Vocaster One again. But the thing I was going to tell you is, so I was actually going to use the Sony XLR H1 that's attached to my camera right now. And
okay.
So I was like, I'm just going to go directly into the camera, like pick the HDMI basically as like both, and that would be fucking cool. But then I got thinking about it and I was like, dude, I forget how bad like the headphone monitoring is in these cameras, So I'm like, I don't think it can really drive it well. And if it does, it's going to be noisy the whole time. And then I started thinking about it on top of that. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to let me get that signal back. I'm not sure. I'll have to test it. But so I think I would have had to go into my like HDMI switcher instead. But
yeah,
maybe I can't. I don't know. Actually, I don't think there's a headphone jack on the handle, but I know there is on the camera. But yeah, I don't know. So I was thinking about using that, and I will say I'm pretty disappointed with this handle in general. It's too bad.
It is too bad.
Too bad. Yeah.
'Cause, I mean,
the preamps they used are just not good. But
yeah, seems to be the case.
It'd be fine for like this and for like a condenser microphone, but any dynamic microphone, like which I mean, a lot of people aren't going to use if they buy that handle. So whatever. But I would, so whatever. But yeah, so yeah, go for it. Tell me what you're using.
Vocaster One as well. Telefunken cable as well. Because me and Bronson just, we're just like, we've known each other a long time. Let's rub them together. That's a redneck joke. And then you said pencil condenser before we started doing the show. And I was like, I don't know where a pencil condenser is. And I really didn't, but I do have this Tascam PE-125, which is a vintage, very vintage, like has the music and voice switch on it, vintage.
Oh, I do remember that video that you did.
Well, I haven't done a video on this yet,
okay.
Motherfucker.
There's
you son of a bitch.
What's the one that had the music switch that you sent me a picture of then? There was another one that you did like not too long ago.
I sent you a picture of this, but I haven't reviewed it yet. So you haven't reviewed it.
Okay, so that's what I'm thinking of then. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, you've seen it. I sent you a picture of it, and I think I was shocked that it sounded surprisingly good for being an old.
Yeah.
Because it's a battery. I think it's running off the battery now.
You even sent me a clip of like a sample of it too. So that's what that makes sense. I had my own personal review. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yes, Bronson is super member of the channel, so I send him member. Stuff directly. Yeah, I upload it to OnlyFans. I send it to Bronson. Yeah,
yeah, dude. Yeah,
but yeah, that's what I'm using. And we had a great idea for this show.
Yeah, we did.
We do. People want to know more about us, right?
Yep, that's what I'm hearing.
They want to get to know their audio channel bros. So we figured we'd take you through. I don't know if it would be the best idea to try to do decade by decade, but we could kind of frame it as such, like, this is what I remember of being young, obscure Bark from, age 0 to 10. First thing I remember is this.
Yeah, just climbing out.
Climbing out, yeah.
How wild would that be if you had literally every memory of your life?
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
I don't think I'd want it.
No,
I don't think
I'm good. I have snippets. What's your earliest memory?
Dude, that's the thing. When you were like asking me, you said like, yeah, up until like 10 or whatever, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. There's not a lot.
Yeah, no. So I would say my first memory ever that I can think of, like off the top of my head, is I do remember when I was like pretty young, my parents buying like this little like basketball like plastic hoop that I was like really excited about, and I like just played with it nonstop. That's about the first thing I like really remember. Anything that I remember all involves toys. I don't know what that says
That
about
makes
me.
sense.
But
I think that's a lot of mine too, because I remember vividly my He-Man toys and my Pet Monster, and some other stuff. Like I don't think it says anything about you except for the fact that like when you're young, that is the excitement of life. That's the anti-adult shit right there.
Yeah.
Like now it's
fair.
like, oh yes, we got a new mic. But back then it was, it was toys. It was toys.
Yeah. No, I think, because the two that I remember the most, basketball, little plastic basketball hoop thing, and then like a 2-foot tall like Batman. Like there was like a hard plastic. And I was like obsessed with it, dude. Yeah.
Well, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Would be too.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I do remember some things of like, so one of the friends that I had for a really long time, like literally since we were born, his parents were friends with my parents, and like we literally, when we were a few months old, we like, they have a picture of us like in a convertible, like going to Vegas with them. And which is weird because my parents really aren't Vegas people, so I'm like, hey, what was going on? But like,
well,
we
maybe
used
when
to
they
go,
were younger,
but they were like Mormon, so I mean, like, I don't know what they're doing, like, but yeah, so I think a lot of memories also kind of involve him. So like, I'll remember us like playing catch or whatever, or him like crying because he's kind of a little B word, but yeah. So I don't like him anymore. So it's actually a recent thing. We were friends for 30 years, and then it ended. But yeah, so
it happens.
Yeah,
it definitely happens. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I held up. That's exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I held up. Yeah.
That's
fantastic.
A fine microphone.
I mean, for real, man. Like here lately, where my tastes have almost fully converted from the warm and dark to the clear. Just I don't know, man. Like as a podcaster primarily, besides the YouTube channel, but the clear sound when I'm in my car, I notice like I get so much more mesmerized, and I'm so much more in tune with the podcast that is clear and
that makes sense.
Just kind of the clarity really pulls me in, whereas the broadcasty sound that I thought I loved, like the bass is distracting now when I'm listening to a podcast in the car.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. So this for the money, man. I mean, I really think it might be the new perfect starting point for a podcast.
That's basically
for my tastes.
Yeah, that's basically what I kind of said. I actually just rendered that review, so it should be out tomorrow.
Nice.
So, I like, because when I did my review, I talked about the Mayano a lot for reasons, I didn't mention like the reasons that we, talked about, but we kind of feel like there's a rivalry starting fucking finally.
I think so.
How cool is that?
Well, I mean, and rightfully so, because these right now, if you want to talk about budget gear, these are the two companies that are,
they're contenders
at least for the Amazon shoppers out there. You're always going to have your pretentious fuckers who won't use them because they're not sure and they're not Rode and they're not. And I'm sorry, like if you really are going to overlook really solid priced gear because of the name or because it's an Amazon special,
Who
like,
cares?
dude, it works. It works. Like, yes.
Yeah.
Is this ever going to be like my main mic? No, it's not, but I would be fine if it was. And
Yeah.
the Loudon Audio, if not for the Loudon Audio LS208, maybe because I really, really like the way I sounded on this. Like this and a Heil PR30 are kind of like my preferred sound on my voice besides that LS208. And I'm not going to deny the Fifine.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
To be clear, I want to clarify, I don't like the Heil mics that much at all. The PR40 I don't like. I've had a few handhelds and I don't like that much. Like, they're clear, but something about the PR30 and my voice I really like. So there's like one Heil mic that is absolutely for me. I probably need to buy one of those and hold on to it instead of getting rid of everything I ever get. But I don't know. It's kind of overpriced because you think it's a dynamic capsule with no switches and a condenser body. That's what it is. I mean, that Heil mic is probably not much better made than this Fifine mic. Because Dynamics are a capsule wired to the XLR plug 9 times out of 10, unless they've got filter switches.
Yeah. Dude, I will say that's, I don't want to just like repeat my review a bunch, but like, yeah, one of the things that I definitely mentioned is like that the build quality at $37 is nuts. Like,
it is.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, yeah, I was very shocked when I got that, because that's one thing about the Mayano PD-100 is you pick this microphone up and it literally, you expect it to be heavier, but it weighs nothing, dude. Like,
it weighs nothing,
which is fine. Yeah. Like, it's not a big
fine.
deal.
It's fine,
but
even.
Like, yeah, it's totally fine. But yeah, like, so I think that it was cool that Fifine came out with that microphone. And I think it's because in my review, I put the PD-100, the Zoom ZDM 1, the XM8500, the Fifine, and then another Fifine microphone, and the pod mic. I put them all against each other. Oh, hey, there you go, sir. Yeah, dude.
Courtesy of Hank at Free Podcast Tools.
Oh, that's like his, yeah. Oh, you guys were talking about like a little kit that you send back or something that you send to each other or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I put those all against each other, and the one thing that I did find is I was like, hey, these all sound different, and that's cool. Like, people have like a fucking choice now. You know what I mean? Like, and especially the Fifine, I would say stands out is sounding the most different because it does have like a lot of clarity versus the like Mayano. I think the Zoom is actually a nice like kind of middle ground, and I do think that the Zoom is kind of a sleeper because you can go and buy that like at Best Buy.
I agree.
Right now. You know what I mean? Like, and so I could see a lot of people getting that. I do think, I don't know, man, like it's hard when I do my comparisons. I'll do it right before I do my review section, and I'll listen to it a lot, and then I'll do my review section, and then as I'm editing it and I go listen to the comparison one more time, I'm like, huh, and I just like, it's constantly changing, I'm just like,
yeah.
And that's one thing, I usually include the comparisons as a way for people to be like, oh, here's just a reference point. It's not really for me to be like, get this mic over this. It's just for you to hear them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even want to suggest for someone to get, this over this or that over. I just want them to be able to like, just to hear. I mean, you and I are different voices, and it's good for people to hear you on this, which I assume you didn't. To be clear, your review of this will be out before this episode of this. So what did you think of your voice on this?
So
because I imagine it might have been a little too top heavy.
It was top heavy, and that's one thing that I say in mine is I'm like, like for people like like Bark that has a lower voice, like this is probably gonna be a better choice. And I was like, but we're not talking about harshness here. Like, if you like a bright sound, like it was fine on my voice. Like I did not have a problem with it. And Like when I went into what I'll usually do is, and it kind of helps me, is I'll go in after the fact, like when I'm doing my first edit, and I'll just grab like a parametric EQ, and I'll kind of like visually look at the frequencies, and then I'll like also just like cut a couple things or boost a couple things, and just be like, okay, this is kind of where I would want it to be. What's left, you know what I mean? And so all I had to do to be happy was like a -2 decibel little, shelf was not a big deal. And so, yeah, it was
That's
like,
kinda,
I mean, yeah,
I'm going to make a statement, and it's going to be a controversial statement. But if the SM7B is the flat blank canvas, then I think this is the clarity blank canvas.
that's fair.
I think you could, and don't get me wrong, people, I'm not saying like this and an SM7B or something.
That's
you
a
should,
shame.
it's, but I mean, you could add a little low end and sound great, or you could cut a little top end and sound great, or it's going to sound great immediately. I don't know, man. There's something about that thing that I was just very taken aback by. And I think it was just where I've been liking that clear, podcast sound with tons of clarity, and you just no sibilance issues, no harshness. Like, it's kind of impressive. Yeah. And it's probably just a fucking AliExpress capsule. Let's be real, Like, I don't know if Fi-Fi makes their own capsules or not, but I mean, I'd be shocked if it was designed in-house, the capsule anyways.
I was very happy to see it, at least as far as I know, not in some other body that is common. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah.
So, yeah, I was happy
that's
about
what
that.
gets old.
Yeah,
that's what gets old.
We did it again, where we started talking about audio again. But
and that's okay. That's okay. It's gonna be all right.
But
I mean, we could definitely skip right back over to the the growing up and the more about us.
What do you? I guess the questions that I would be more like kind of interested in is like, if you had to put just like describe the generic version of yourself, like, or just like the simplified version of yourself from 0 to 10, just be like, what kind of kid were you? Like, if there's 30 kids in a classroom, what kind of kid were you? You know what I mean? Like, which one were you?
Which one with like generic descriptions?
Well, I mean, you can, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, just because for me, I think that we're like, I'll give you an example. I think that we're often, from 0 to 10, we're often a mirror of our parents and their interests a lot of the time.
0 to 10. Yeah. Jesus, I'm thinking like, are you like BB starring us as kids?
Oh my God, no. My bad, dude. My bad. So yeah, no. So I think that if someone were to look at me at that age, they'd be like, oh, he is more, and as weird as it sounds, like he's more of a jock. Like he's like the jock kid and he plays sports and he's like a shy, quiet jock. That's what I would describe myself as. 0 to 10. Huh. I mean, 10 to 13, it takes a drastic turn.
0 to 10, I was just an introvert. I think I was just a very timid, shy, geeky kid. Like a very pop culture driven child. Like that I don't think I really had much personality from 0 to 10.
Does anyone, I was just though? I mean,
quiet. Yeah. I think so. Like my kids are fucking chock full of personality.
I guess I get what you mean.
I don't think I was. I think I was very quiet and very reserved, and like I was not. And I was like this until I was 17. Probably 16, 17. Like I was not a popular kid in school. I was like the middle ground, which I think it sucks to have to even describe it as that way. But we're talking me being in school in the 90s, and I was very, I was very middle ground. Like, I got along with most everyone, but I definitely wasn't in anyone's clique or group or anything. I had to make my own little clique of not necessarily outcasts, but like kids that were also on the fence of like, you know, tortured and picked on and, or popular Abercrombie kids, which is what the thing was back in my day. Everybody wore Abercrombie. And I was just kind of squarely on top of the fence. Like, nobody really picked on me, but no one paid me much attention either. It was just kind of, I was existing until I was 16 and discovered alcohol and vagina, and then shit just took off from there. It just took off. I came out of my shell and I went into someone else's shell. Shit.
Like we're in your shell right now. And thank you.
Like we're in your shell right now. But no, I really decided at like 16 when I discovered myself a little bit and music was influential and like I was becoming my own person. I was like, fuck everyone. I'm just going to be me.
Yeah.
And that has been me from 16 to 42.
So, yeah. No, okay. Yeah,
That's not completely accurate. I just figured I'd cut myself off.
No, I get you.
Ending it there.
Yeah, I definitely, I guess that's kind of what I was saying is like, I was just curious, like from your kid's standpoint, I guess it's maybe 0 to 5 and then 5 to 10 is maybe a little different. But do you think like younger, you're kind of like a reflection of your parents' personality a little bit? That's kind of what I was wondering.
Well, I skipped over that a little bit intentionally because this is where we get deep.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I don't have a relationship with my parents really. Yeah. And I never did really. Like my parents were very, not really. My parents were very hands off. Like it was, you know, from the time that I can remember, it's a classic cliche 90s kid thing and 80s and 70s and 60s and maybe early 2000s, probably early 2000s as well. But I was out roaming the neighborhood from morning till dark, you know, and I didn't have conversations with my parents, and my parents split when I was like 3, and my dad moved away, started another family, that whole thing. But neither, like, I'm not trying to be a dick because they put a roof over me, they fed me, they made sure I stayed alive. But I mean, neither one of my parents gave too much of a fuck about what I was doing or who I was with or, you know, whether they wanted me to like succeed or not succeed. Like I would have never known. They never fucking said anything. I just don't have that closeness. Like, it's not there. So I don't think I was a reflection of either of them. And my wife is a big testament to this. Like she says, I'm not like either one of them in any single way, shape or form, which is not true. Cause I do share some common things with my father because of our love of music but for the most part, I pretty much had to be my own person from an early age and figure out who the fuck I was pretty quick. Because I didn't have any influence. My influence were the people I chose to be around once I was old enough to make that decision, which was fucking early.
So I guess that like, in a way, that statement kind of makes sense because like, you didn't really talk to your parents a whole lot and you were kind of shy, reserved, and unsure of yourself. And I think that for me, like, I mean, like my parents were, you know, very involved in my life. I will say like, as far as, parents giving a shit, like they obviously cared and like they went above and beyond, like more than anyone really needs to, I'm sure. But like, I will say I was the youngest and it was a pretty big gap. So like the leeway stuff and like the just kind of, you know, do what you want and, you know, just go do stuff, I think was a little bit more apparent than any of my siblings could relate to because like hearing what like my sister will say about my parents, she's like, dude, like he would do this and this. And I'm like, well, that does not even sound like the same guy. Like, you know, like when I was growing up. So I was definitely, I had like friends in the neighborhood and we would just like go fuck around until it was dark. Like when it got dark, that's when you went home. Like that's pretty much it, you know? But, and I guess that is kind of interesting because I do think that once I was old enough to understand what I liked, which is interesting on its own, because you'd think that if I'm a reflection of my parents and I kind of do what they like, how would I ever find out what I like? Because you know what I mean? But I mean, I would say music and stuff became a lot more apparent when I was like 11 to 13, I'd say, you know.
Probably the same for me.
And that's when I like became someone that my parents definitely never expected me to be, like, for sure. But yeah, because I mean, like, I would say all of my siblings, and fuck, I hope that no one listens to this, but they're like they're a pretty fucking cookie cutter person. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing really, like, they do, like, I'm not saying they're not cool, and I'm not saying I don't love them and shit, but I'm just saying, like,
you're saying they chose the path of your family.
They did the expected. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Like,
right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And like, sure, like, you know, there was trials along their way, but the overall outcome was the expected outcome, you know?
Right.
So, and for me, that just wasn't the case, you know? Yeah. So yeah, but
that's me too. I am the black sheep, and it's not because of anything that I have done or anything like that. It's like, to put it in layman's terms, like, my family is either very Christian, one half, and then the other half is just, God, I hate to call them like fucking Trumpers, but they're kind of Trumpers.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of, old school, right wing, kind of been brainwashed by the Fox News bullshit. Not to a deep degree, but like enough to where I don't want to surround myself with that, basically.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I'll just say, like, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn by any means. I just feel, in my opinion, I am the most open-minded person in my entire family, both sides.
There's literally no doubt about it. I am too. Like, literally no doubt. And
yeah,
there would not be a
big reason why we do this and get along, because we've got that thing going on.
I think, like, I don't think there'd be a single member of my family that would deny that. Like, yeah. And it's not that, like, I was like a little shit or anything. Like, I just did things different, and I just liked different things. And
you and I thought for ourselves.
Yeah. And so, yeah, man, like, I think that's one weird thing, and not to throw, and I don't really want to get into this topic too much, because it's probably a pretty big topic on its own. But when it does come to religion, like you mentioned, like, for me, like, growing up LDS, like, the fact that I walked into like a seminary class I guess I was probably 13, and like had critical and logical enough thinking to be like, what you're saying doesn't make sense to me, you know, like, and everything that I've learned to this point, like these things just don't add up, you know. But literally to this day, my much older siblings have never had that thought. Is weird to me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Where did I come from? You know, like, what? How did that happen? And it was just weird. Like, but that's the thing. Like, I didn't give it up for a lot longer than that, because the guilt surrounding LDS members and like the Mormon church is just like, it's plentiful, you know, like,
yeah,
the Mormon guilt, and I'm a religious guilt in general. Like, are you going to church, you know, with us this Sunday? Would you like to go? You know, like, well, that wasn't a question. Like, you're fucking going to church, you know, but, which is funny, because now my parents have actually separated themselves from the LDS church, and which is like, I never would have imagined it. And like, to this day, they'll deny that they ever like made me go to church. I'm like, you're so full of shit.
Yeah. But, I definitely was made to go to church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something that always confused me is my grandfather, who is passed away, my mom's dad, which rocked our family to the core. Probably why, you know, I don't talk to any of the rest of them, because they all got really greedy about his money afterwards, but they're all super Christians.
Yeah.
My grandfather told everyone in the family that it basically told everybody that I was going to be like special to people because I had the softest heart he had ever seen. Fast forward from me being a kid to an adult and me having the softest heart, which meant not hating gay people and not hating people of color and not hating anyone and not understanding why the church was so looked down upon people like that. Like the fact that they all wondered what was wrong with me when it used to be that soft heart is going to like, he's going to be special to people. Oh, but don't be special to the gays or the blacks, son. We meant the other people.
We pick and choose here. We pick and choose,
that's kind of how my family is. And when I discovered that that's how they were, and I'm not saying they're flat out racist. They're just not accepting of anyone who don't fit the Christian mold.
Oh, and I have family members like that. Yeah.
So, and I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm like, if my grandfather thought it was such an endearing and wonderful quality for me to have such a loving heart, like, why didn't anyone like realize that maybe that's the correct way to be?
Right.
It's just fucked up. And it's almost stuff like that makes me who I am today, because I always heard how just wonderful I was to people, but man, when they found out that I was wonderful to all people, like, you know, I got a little bit of shit talked about me behind my back.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Fuck them.
No, dude, it's so weird. Like, I mean, like, obviously we grew up very different, but yeah, we do have a lot of similarities because, like, I've always been like the compassionate one in my family. Like, actually, just random question. Are you, or were you, better yet, were you a sympathetic crier?
Oh God, yeah. I still am.
I struggle with it still. Yeah. So yeah, dude,
I can't stand to see people in emotional turmoil. Physical pain doesn't bother me that bad because most of the time, you know, if the physical pain is something they'll recover from, and it's not. Emotional pain bothers me to no end. Like, you know,
dude, it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to a guy today, and I don't live in a very diverse area, but I talked to a guy today who's coaching my son's soccer team, and I could just like talking about our upbringings and stuff, you know, I just saw the torment of how he was raised here in this fucking shit area. And I was just like, my fucking chest was killing me listening to him. You know what I mean? Dude. Like, it took everything I had not to get upset. 'Cause it's like, why the fuck should anybody have to go through that?
Yeah.
It's just bothersome.
I do think that, like, I will say from when, and it's kind of funny when you were saying that, you know, like you had the softest heart and everything like that. Yeah. There's always a story, or like multiple stories where, and this was always like such a wild concept for my family, and not saying that they aren't compassionate. They're great people. Like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like,
there's levels,
great. But yeah. And so when I remember there was one time, you know, I was like a little bit younger, but I did this all the time. So this is just the one time I remember. My sister like wanted to go do something, and my parents said no, and she was just like crying because she wanted to go. And then all of a sudden I start losing my shit, and my mom's like, well, what's wrong with you now? And I'm like, she's sad. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like that was me, man. Like, that was, you know, and I do think that my sympathetic crying has kind of turned more into sympathetic anger. You know, like, I get more riled up and like pissed off at how people are treated more than like when someone's actually crying. I definitely get the little throat feeling, and I'll be like, hey, like, you know, but it's definitely more I get pissed off that people are the way that they are more than I, you know, like, just want to cry about it, I guess. But
yeah. Now it's more offensive to us to see someone being wronged, and it's it doesn't quite make us cry, but you get the lump, and then you're just angry, Man, I get angry a lot at stuff like that, especially, and I get super fucking pissed when I run into somebody, and I'm sorry for anybody who disagrees because this is a hot topic, but like when I get around any kind of toxic masculinity bullshit, like I get mad. Like I get legit mad because it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It just makes no sense to me. I can never understand just the hard ass attitude and being labeled as, well, you listened to one of my In the Car with Bark episodes. Like, I went to church on Easter and the pastor said, like, we don't want our daughters to be with pansies. And I was like pissed. I was like, what the fuck is like, that. I know what you mean by pansy. And that's me. That's me. Like I'm a man that's in touch with like my emotions and feelings. And like,
that's bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's fucking bad. Like,
and I'm like, break, you're calling me a pansy because I would admit to crying or I would admit to like hurting for someone. And that's what you mean by pansy, you stupid fucking preacher, And it's like, this shit just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Like he was just standing up there being a toxic male. And I'm like, so this is supposed to be one of God's right-hand men, huh? Like, get the fuck out of here. That
right there was actually like something similar to that happening, is the reason that it was the straw that broke the camel's back or whatever for me with the LDS church. That was unfairness towards women. Any woman that is in the LDS church, like I understand that they're brainwashed, but like I cannot understand it. Like I understand that they're brainwashed, but it's just like how, like in a world where like everything is like so available in social media and everything, like you have an idea of how women should be treated, right? But you go to church every Sunday and like your husband treats you this way and you're just like, fucking, like that's chill. Like whatever, it's just weird. That's just wild.
Well, that's the problem with that book that they claim is all just truth and goodness. Like there's parts of that book that basically insinuate that women are to serve. And I'm like,
absolutely.
Fuck
serve
that.
Your man, dude. Serve your man. Yep.
That doesn't make sense in a teaching of kindness and love. It makes absolutely zero sense. Yeah. And it's why I don't believe in that book. Like there may be parts of it that I think might be true, but there's just so much of it that I'm like, this does not compute. Just like you said in whatever the fuck you called that Mormon gathering you went to as a kid. What'd you call it?
That would be seminary. Or no,
seminary.
So I went to, no, it would be, so there's a lot of different levels and shit to the LDS church, man. It's like, but you can go to seminary class, but I guess that, what would that have been? Like, it was like I can't remember what it is. It's like right before you get the Aaronic priesthood. It's not ironic priesthood, but Aaronic. And that's when you can like start serving the sacrament and shit. But it was like one of those like little pre-classes. I can't remember what they're called.
Isn't it all just laughable? I mean,
it is. It's fucking hilarious, man. Like
all of it's laughable. And I'm still blown away by it. I thought maybe as I got older, I literally thought in my 20s and early 30s, like eventually I'll get tricked into buying some of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
I thought the same thing.
I really did. I thought, because I see so many older people getting more and more gullible as they age. I'm like, it's going to happen. I'm going to get more gullible and I'm going to start being like, oh, it's time to go to church and do this. And I feel more spiritual now than ever. Like I feel like a connection to something bigger than myself more than I ever have. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking crazy talk like someone's talking to me and this and that. No, none of that. I just like, I feel like as you get older, like, you start to believe more that there's more to life than just this. Like I totally do not believe that once I die, it's just darkness and it's over. Like I do believe in whatever happens next, like with spirit, soul, that I really do believe that, but I don't believe any of it stems from organized religion
I
whatsoever.
don't either.
And I'm so happy that I'm getting more jaded to organized religion the older I get. The more I'm like, even finding out that somebody goes to church, I'm just like, why? Like, really, why?
Yeah.
And it's to me, it's a big bag of false hope. When the hope can be there, it can be there. It's there for me, but it's not because of some building with a fucking hypocrite talking to you, telling you how to live and scaring your children by talking about the apocalypse every fucking 30 seconds. Like, I grew up with nightmares from that shit, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, they did a number on me for sure. As they do everyone, as they do everyone for sure. Yeah, dude. I'm going to put the fear of God in you, boy. Put the fear of God in you.
I wouldn't think that a God that's supposed to be kindness and love wants you to fear him.
Yeah. And I think that's feared. That's like one of the interesting things between, like Catholics or like Jews, Judaism. Is that what it's called? Judaism?
Yeah.
Catholics, Christians, Mormons, like, it's all interesting how all of them technically believe in parts of like God and like the Bible and shit like that. But then, like the New Testament or like the Book of Mormon or whatever it is, like comes along and changes that. But it's interesting how much they like dislike each other.
I know.
It's just
that's because
so
they're all
interesting.
That's because they're all sitting at a table going through the rule book, the Bible, and like the denominations are all sitting at the round table and they're like, "Ooh, I like this part. Keep at it. Ooh, fuck that. Don't want that. We don't need that part. Ooh, yeah. Corinthians, we like that shit. Ooh, no, we don't like that. Fuck, get rid of that. The Pentecostals can have that one. It's just such a jigsaw puzzle of bullshit.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's like, how about you just fucking love people and be kind? And I think you've got 99% of it figured out.
Yeah, and I think a big part of me kind of coming to terms with, I don't know, man. Like, I just think that coming to terms with the fact that I just didn't believe in any of that, it really came down to the fact that I was like, okay, so no matter what, one way or another, there was a human involved in the delivery of this. Therefore, I go from the very beginning. I think it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, even if like God did bring down like, or if like the Bible, I honestly I can't remember. With the Book of Mormon, it was like the golden plates. Angels appeared to Joseph Smith in the Garden of Gethsemane or something. I can't fucking remember. And
Yosemite. It was Yosemite Park.
Yeah. It's like it's the MacBook background now. Yeah, it's
right.
And Joseph Smith, the angel Moroni's on top, just fucking like this. Yeah, dude. No. So it's just funny to me because I'm like, even if that happened and they were like, hey, homie, like translate these, I'm like, he fucked up somewhere. He's human. He fucked up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's not even. I mean, like, obviously, I don't believe that the angel thing happened, but I'm like, even if it did, he fucked up. Guaranteed he did.
Not to mention when you look at a book, any book in religion written by a grab bag of humans, the track record of humans is pretty shitty. It's
dude.
not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like I don't trust any human to relay like a message like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, if you want me, and I understand like the argument is like, hey, you gotta have faith, and I'm like, hey, George Michael, you fucking. I love that song.
Hey,
shut it down,
dude.
bro.
Limp Bizkit. Come on.
I did listen to Out of Style again yesterday. Yesterday I did.
It's just a fun song.
It's a fun song. But yeah.
On your point though, be kind and love everybody. All right, this is what he said here. Be kind and love everybody except for homosexuals. Pass it along. Okay. Be kind and love everybody except for homosexuals and people that aren't white, because Jesus was a white American. Pass it along. It's the whole schoolyard routine of like, you say something and run it through a line of kids and see what it ends up being at the end. That's organized religion.
Yeah,
boom,
absolutely.
There you go. Yep. fucking life lessons for life.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing to me is, let me look at this. When, so the Mormon Church started in 1830. And this is the interesting thing to me. It took until 1978 for black people to be able to hold the priesthood. Like, that's fucking crazy. When the government has to come in and say, hey, if you don't let black people hold the priesthood, we're going to start taxing you. If that happens, and then they're like, okay, yeah, that church is full of shit. You know, like, that's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, dude, no. And also,
hey, Father Greg, they're going to start fucking with our money if we don't let this guy preach. Like, right. Let him preach.
Yeah. If they come to you and they're like, hey, you know, like, maybe stop marrying children and being fucking disgusting polygamists, or we're going to tax you. And then they're like, hey, guys, no polygamy anymore.
Yeah, we can't be doing
bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, that's just bullshit. And so it's just funny to me, man. Like, it is. Any person should be able to look at that and be like, okay, wait, okay. Separate church and state, but wait, hold on though. Like, they came and they were like, you know, we're going to tax you. And then all of a sudden he had a revelation from God because the tax man came. No, dude, fuck that noise, dude. No, like, any person from the LDS church should be able to look at least those two instances, many more, and be like, you know, that doesn't make sense, but whatever. Yeah.
It's same as politics. It's whatever fits their narrative. Whatever fits their narrative is what's going to work. And
whatever feels, whatever feels good, man, you know, but yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that I've definitely experienced in the LDS church, but I gotta say though, I mean, I think that's a big part of why I started talking about it today is, I mean, from 0 to 10 years old, I mean, that was a big part of my life, you know, like,
right.
I went all the time. I was baptized at 8 years old, which, I mean, like, who in their right mind would let an 8-year-old child choose to join, like, officially join a church? Like, that's just wild. But I mean, I guess a lot of kids are baptized at birth. So, I mean, there's that too, but
yeah, because that'll just, you know, you want to get the fix done immediately. That way they can shoot, kill, and murder afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. From 0 to 10, I guess it's kind of hard. I guess I was just kind of like, I liked playing basketball. And that was, you know, about it.
Yeah, we're, you know,
just kind of like
little copies of who was around us.
Is there? I am curious. I guess we're probably. I don't know how long you have today, but
yeah, we'll go. A few more minutes is fine.
Go a little bit. So I'm curious. Like, what was like the biggest? What had the biggest impact on you? Like, I guess we're talking after probably, you know, 8 years old, or even like we can talk about a little bit after. Like, what had the biggest impact on you to, like, kind of become your own person and change? Like, was it like a CD, a movie, like someone you met? Like, what was the sitch?
That's good. I think I've even mentioned, I want to make sure, like, I'm ready to answer, and I'm sitting here backtracking in my mind to make sure that I'm correct. But I'm pretty sure I was like 13, and I met this girl in my neighborhood named Mandy, and I liked some cool music and stuff, and I was kind of becoming my own person. Mm-hmm. But meeting this girl at 13, which I did not have a relationship with, she was just my friend. She was older too. She was like 2 or 3 years older than me. But she really kind of introduced me to not only punk music, but also got me deeper into grunge at the time because it was 90s. But also being around her, hearing her talk about her ideals and her theories and kind of her problems with authority. And, you know, she was the cool girl that I looked up to. And that had a massive influence on me. And she had a cousin named Mindy. And Mindy was the one that me and all my little dudes that were skating and riding BMX bikes, we all liked Mindy a lot. And they were just cool as fuck. You know, they were just cool girls. And they, to be around cool, kick-ass girls and want to be around them more than the neighborhood boys. Like, no, we want to go hang out with Mindy and Mandy because they fucking rock and they give us cigarettes and we smoke and we listen to fucking Tool and fucking Pennywise and shit. Like, it was an eye-opening kind of like, okay, I'm starting to feel cool because of these girls. Like, I'm telling people some of the bands I like, and they're like, this kid's kind of cool. Like, and, you know,
word.
Kind of owe that to them. So it was just the friends. I was always really good about finding my circle of people. Like, I was good about finding people I was compatible with, and I was quick to discard of ones that I was not. So, you know, I got really lucky with the people I grew up with from about the age of 12 to 20. Like, you know, those people, I may not be close to them now, but massive part of my life.
Yeah. That's I feel the same way. For sure, there are people that I haven't talked to in years that had a very lasting impact on me. Did you say her name was Mandy?
Yeah.
Mandy
and Mindy, because they were cousins.
That was actually funny. Okay, that makes sense. It was funny you said that, like, all the guys liked her or whatever. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
She's like, she's a hottie. No, but it's funny though, because there's this movie, I think is it with the girl that just went through the lawsuit with Johnny Depp? I think it was. What's her name?
Amber Heard.
Yeah, I think it's Amber Heard. But it's funny though, because
those two make me cringe.
I want to verify. Yes, it is her. But it's a movie called All the Boys Love Mandy Lane, and I'm like, oh, word, okay. It's a horror movie. It's not great, but that's a title, and it was relevant, so I mentioned it.
Yeah, and it came to the forefront of your mind.
Yeah. So, okay, I have two instances that were, well, I guess like, two I would say. So, I am 9 years apart from my closest sibling. So when I was, you know, quite a bit younger, at 11, she was like going to college, and like she was like at the local college here, and at the hometown, and so she was like bringing guys back to meet the parents occasionally and stuff, you know. And there was this one guy that she brought, and he's just a fucking square, dude. He was a square. Yeah. It's not hip to be square. Huey.
No,
okay?
Not unless you're Huey.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Saw him in concert. It was dope.
Love Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah, it's great. But she was like, hey, you, I don't remember his name. I remember the other guy's name. But, hey, you should bring your acoustic guitar in and play a song. And so I think and it was like so douchey. So like my parents are like, we really got to do this. Okay, he's gonna sing a fucking song too. Okay, cool. And so we walk in the room, and he starts playing Fire and Rain by James Taylor, I think. And he was like good, you know. And I was like, and I remember when he played it though, I was like, hey, like this is kind of actually like guitar is kind of cool, you know. And so I would have been like 10 at this point. And so I was like, yeah, thinking about the guitar, you know, and I was like, that could be fun. And so then a year later after that, she brings this other guy home for us to meet. And for whatever reason, he picked me up from school that day, and his name was Cub. And nickname, I'm assuming. I don't know for sure.
I hope so.
So I was in his like beat up ass truck, and I get in, and he's like, you ever heard of Newfound Glory? And I'm like, no, what is that? What is a Newfound Glory? He's like, listen to this song. I was like, and dude, this guy was like the epitome of a person that my parents would not want my sister to date. Like 1000%. Like long hair, skater dude, was actually like very well known for being like an amazing wakeboarder. So he plays My Friends Over You by Newfound Glory. And I was like, there was like this part that connected things in my mind. And I was like, wait, I can take that bitchy ass guitar thing he was playing and play this shit. Like I can do that, you know? And I was like, I'm fucking in, dude. Like I'm in.
Yeah.
And so that was it, dude. Newfound Glory, My Friends Over You, 2002, 11 years old. That was the moment that my penis was hit with a lightning bolt.
I've got to add this because it's very similar.
Yeah.
Because Mandy, who I used as my, kind of spark into becoming who I was, Mandy asked me, like, I was probably 13, maybe 14. I might have been 14. But Mandy asked me if I wanted to come upstairs and watch a movie and listen to this new album by a band. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, what about you? I used to hang out with these boys. They were the Boggs brothers, Mike and Stephen Boggs. And they were a big part of my upbringing too. Like totally loved punk, skater kids, BMX kids. That's what we were into. And so we were waiting for her to summon us to go upstairs to watch this movie. This older guy comes over who's older than her. He's probably 17 or 18. His name was Mike.
Oh, dude.
Mike was coming over to watch a softcore porn and listen to the new Pennywise album, which was Unknown Road, which was like only their second album. And she wanted us to come up and watch it because she had no interest in Mike and knew what Mike was trying to like. He's trying to get her horny, trying to get her to bang to some Pennywise. Right. She had no interest. So she's like, oh yeah, my friends are going to come watch it with us. The disappointment on this guy's face was just like ridiculous. But that was a moment because I had never heard anything that fast in my life. And Unknown Road's a fantastic fucking album. Like da 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 da, and I was just like, and like watching softcore porn, which I was 13, 14. I was plenty into my jerking years. Dude, I'd seen plenty of porn. Yeah, but still watching a softcore porn on silent. And like this softcore porn, they were oiling each other up on the bed and just sliding everywhere to fast punk music. And I was just like, this is the shit. And I loved punk music from that day on. And Pennywise has been like that thing. Like who got you into punk? Like Pennywise and softcore porn and Mandy. That's what got me into punk.
Yeah. You're like, well, it's not one particular band.
Yeah.
It's a movie also. Dude, there was a lot of hard stuff in that room. You know what I mean?
A lot of hard stuff in that room. Yeah. Which was also uncomfortable because you're sitting there, knowing you're probably showing.
I just like, dude, I don't know, like, no judgments on this if you or people that listen to this have or still do this. I've never really understand being like, hey, buddy, like, you want to like watch a porn together? You know what I mean? Like,
no.
Never got it.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I admit that I had a buddy because we were just young horn dogs. We did tend to, when we had sleepovers, we did tend to stay up as late as we could for Skinamax and all that good stuff.
Oh, word. Yeah.
Yeah. But actually just watching a porn with somebody, I don't know. Like, it's a little weird. Yeah. It's a little odd. Not really my thing.
I think that like when you're growing up, you're allowed a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I definitely had a friend.
Sometimes you have to work with the situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like, so I had a friend that would be like, just like would have, whether it was like I was over at his house and he pulled it up on his computer or whatever it was, he'd just be like, dude, look at this. You know what I mean? And I'd be like,
yeah,
that is a Japanese woman repeatedly hitting a dude in the balls. And I'm watching it right now. That's what that is.
Yep.
And, yeah, dude, no, I think that's one of like the first things I ever saw from porn. And I was like, is this what all porn is? Just dudes getting fucking jackhammered in the nuts.
Sounds
like,
terrible.
This is my thing. This is my cup of tea.
I got a question for
dude.
you, and hopefully this will only run us a few more minutes.
What's up?
Did you grow up around anybody that really blew your mind with the kind of shit they thought was cool to do in front of you? Example. This dude named David, when I was younger than 13, I was probably between 10 and 12. This David dude that moved in next door to me, like we used to go play at this pond back behind my buddy Brandon's house. And this David dude literally takes 2 fingers and drills a hole in the mud in front of us, pulls down his pants, and sticks his cock in the ground, and is literally smacking the ground, fucking the soil. And I was like, what the fuck? Listen,
dude,
not only did he do that, which, we were just kind of like, what the fuck? One day I was up in his room, me and Brandon, I think, up in his room or something. And like, he's got rock posters on the wall and there's always heavy music blaring. Like, he was a year or 2 older than us, and he never tried. Let me just point this out. He never tried to touch anybody. Thank God.
Yeah.
But like, dude pulls his cock out and is like, check this out. And he squeezes it and shoots a fucking rocket shot out. And it just kind of falls onto the floor. Like, I still have never seen anything like it. Like, he pulled his dick out. It was hard. He squeezed it, shot one, and then put it back in and was like, can you do that? And I was like,
dude,
what?
Dude, this is the
Keep in mind, I grew
of,
up in Southern Ohio.
Yeah, this is the epitome of just like, hey, boys being boys.
I guess, man, it was fucked up. And that's one of those things I'll never forget because of the brashness of this dude. And I was just like, why?
No, I definitely had a friend that, what was your friend's name?
I hate to call him a friend, but it was David.
David. Okay.
Thank God he only lived there for like a year.
Dude. Yeah, no, I had this friend, Graham, it was kind of a similar situation, and it was actually the dude that literally showed me the Japanese porn of the girl hitting the guy in the balls, because it's always this kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's this kid that does this shit. But dude, he could not keep his fucking balls in his pants, man. Like, he could not do it for the life. It was like always like, dude, should I put fucking Icy Hot on my nuts? And everyone's like, no. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. You know what I mean? We're like, okay. And it's just, dude, no, it's shit like that. Just like, and he was definitely like the one that would have like, I can't say, that's like, it's kind of incredible that he was able just to like pump it twice and just shoot one. That's wild. That's
still shocked to this day. That's why I remembered. I've never even seen a porn star just whip it out, squeeze it, and shoot like what is essentially a sperm bullet.
Dude, that's like,
I was like, it's fucking impressive, honestly, but it was also fucked up. But
yeah, it's almost like, I don't like the shot itself isn't, but like the speed to getting to that point almost seems like some pre-jack shit for sure. But like, I don't know. That's
man.
Weird. That's weird.
Yeah, an uncanny ability to just fire one off.
Yeah.
I've never, I was just like, what is going on?
Dude.
And they put it away, and it was like, just move on with life. Put on
just
that new Prince album. All right.
Dude, that's cool. One thing that is interesting. I'm trying to think like there was that one kid that I was talking about, like he definitely did like the whole goat thing a lot, and like the whole like whatever, he'd be like, dude, what's on the ground right here, and then would have like his balls out of his pants and you'd see his balls, and it was just shit like that all the time, like how many weird ways can I get these guys to see my genitals? Like that was basically the goal of his life, like pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's a weird dude. I still like him. He's funny, but like he's
Sometimes those people like that are like just genuinely just fucking morons, like just fucking goofy ass morons that will spread their cheeks and be like, "Hey, dude," you turn around and you just see asshole.
Yes,
that kind of thing.
he was that guy, and like he's definitely like not that guy anymore, and he grew up a lot. But like he's
Well, thank God.
yeah. No, I mean, I would be at this point, I'd be pretty fucking mad if someone was like, "Hey, what's that on the ground?" and I saw their fucking balls or dick. I'd be pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
Just
I'm still wondering if David is somewhere right now fucking a bag of Miracle Grow. Yeah, just banging a bag of Miracle Grow, just fucking giving it everything he's got.
Dude, that's a new one for me. That's wild.
It was pretty fucked up. I will never be able to wipe those memories from my brain.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Dude, that's one thing
I have not seen a lot of dicks in person.
No.
But I've seen his.
That's true, dude. Actually, like I've seen a very limited amount of dicks in person. Which I
didn't play football.
I guess that makes sense.
You know, nothing like that.
Dude, even then, like when I did play football when I was younger, like no one did that. I'm sure that like college football or, is a little bit different. But yeah, dude, no, it's weird. One thing that was interesting to me too, you mentioned I've never none of my friends or I or anyone that I've known has been like, hey, let's like jam out to this like CD while we watch a movie on mute. That's never happened to me. I've never done that.
I mean, that probably was the only time. That was probably the only time.
Okay. I guess that's like, hey.
I got to hand it to him though. It went together really well.
It was great. It's like to this day.
I've always wanted to know the name of that movie so I could relive that exact moment.
That was literally my next question. I was like, have you tried to like seek that movie out? That was literally on the tip of my tongue.
If I knew what it was, I would. Like I absolutely would. And I don't know where to find softcore porn. Like in 2023, it's hardcore go home. There's not really, I don't know where to find the softcore shit at. Dude, but I would seek it out. I would go through many movies to try to find that so I could put that on with that Pennywise album.
Wow. Yeah.
That bring back some fun, like a moment for me, and bring back a moment.
Yeah.
Watching a softcore porn with punk music with 3 dudes and a girl.
At least it's not 2 girls in a cup, But okay, we can call it after this. I just want to mention, because it was mentioned by Mike, our good friend from Dynasty Rewind. Okay.
Oh, and
there's your ad. Something. Okay. Yeah. Well, we've been talking about Mormons and we've been talking about porn. So
Mormons.
Yeah. No. Apparently what he sent us is that Pornhub blocked everyone in Utah.
It wasn't
Is that real?
It wasn't quite that cut and dry, was it?
Oh, was it not? I'm not sure. I honestly not sure.
It was something to do. What was that? Let me pull it up real quick. And real quick, while I'm pulling it up, I wanted to announce we're probably not going to hit a lot of people here because, I mean, we'll hit some people here. Like sometimes the download numbers are pretty solid compared to our subscriber numbers. And Pornhub blocks access to all users in Utah over state's new age verification law. Okay, yeah, it did.
Yeah, they blocked the whole thing. Yeah. I don't know
if that's true. Now that's posted from some Six Legends site. I don't know what that is on Instagram. Who knows if that's really the case?
I got CNN, NY, and LA Times. I'll say it. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And a bunch of other ones too. And Deseret News. Hey, now you know it's fucking real because the Mormons commented on it.
Hot damn. Real quick. If anybody's interested, on the 13th of this month, so the first audio production I ever diddled, was the Back Row Fantasy Show, which was a fantasy football podcast specifically aimed at dynasty players. And we are going to do a live stream. It's kind of like the return of the Back Row Fantasy Show. Live stream on the 13th. It is going to be a benefit live stream. 2 of my best friends, Brian Hux and Aaron Arms. Aaron Arms' wife just was announced cancer-free yesterday. She battled. She went through a couple different rounds of chemo and stuff. My buddy, Brian Hucks, who was he was part of the Back Row Fantasy show. His son, Landon, is battling his second bout of leukemia.
Jeez.
Yeah. He's like a 14-year-old kid, and he's
So
about
sad.
as tough as they come. But we're going to do a live stream benefit. It's going to be on Obscure mics because I want to pitch it to the highest reach, and if that loses me some subs, so be it. We're going to do the live stream for the Back Row Fantasy show, and then my buddy Denny's podcast, Real and Raw Sports, will be on right after us, and then Michael Bauer and Dynasty Rewind will be on after them.
See it?
And it's just, it's going to be a fundraiser to try to help Landon and Lanny, who is Arms' wife, help out with those costs in that situation and all that good stuff. So, a benefit, a podcast live stream benefit.
That's awesome, though. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
that's way cool. Yeah, dude. No, I'll have to post about it. Post about it for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get everybody I can just to make it known, just to try to help them out, because they're two people, and I don't have many people I can say this about, but they're just good people. Good people.
Yeah.
Unlike David.
Sure.
Unlike David.
Yeah. Like David's not invited to this benefit. David and Graham are not allowed.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we don't want to see any cock and balls or buttholes.
Dude, we should that should be our first Obscure Hotline shirt design. It should just say David and Graham, and then just like in little font just say Obscure Hotline.
Oh, shoot.
Dude, we should make it look like a football jersey, and like obviously have the number be 69, and then it's perfect. It's perfect for that. Yeah.
Obscure Hotline, digging up the dirt with our dicks.
Dude, yes. I was actually thinking a really cool digging up the dirt with our dicks. So it's hitting me the more that I think about it. That's hilarious.
It's just kind of odd.
Dude, I think one thing that would be cool, I was actually thinking about this t-shirt idea for us, which I mean is like wildly premature, like probably David is. So little pre-jacker. But yeah, dude, no, I was thinking it'd be cool to have like kind of more of like a comic-y looking shirt, and it's all just like a bunch of random bullshit that we've said and stuff, and like comic-y kind of looking thing. Dude,
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, like fucking dirt will be on it.
Yeah,
digging up dirt with our dicks.
Yeah, we could just have like a really bad drawing of Mark Wahlberg, and it just says Dirt Diggler. Obscure Hotline. Let us be inside you,
dude. And then there'll just be like the centerpiece will just be Billie Eilish's face, and then it just says
our most
like,
downloaded episode. Absolutely, thanks, Billie Eyelash.
Eyelash, dude. And that's what it's gonna say under it.
The shirt can just be a picture of a billy club and an eyelash.
Dude, oh my god, yeah, that's perfect. Billie Eyelash. Dude, that's hilarious.
We'll come up with more ideas.
I love it.
We'll put this in motion.
Dude, absolutely. This is the shirt for sure. But
absolutely.
Well, yeah, thanks for listening or watching this episode of the Obscure Hotline. We hope that you enjoyed us being inside of you, and we did last almost an hour and a half, so you're welcome.
You're welcome, absolutely.
David,
and hopefully
David can't say that. David cannot fucking say that.
I don't know. Somebody that was kind of cool. I almost would say he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it wasn't cool then, but like thinking about it now, just a little pump shot. Just like, whoa.
We should track David down and interview him.
Fuck, I don't know about that.
Dude, just be like, so what's this whole thing with that? What's the whole thing with pulling your dick out?
I have
and
never,
shit?
ever looked to see if this dude was on Facebook. Ever. I don't know.
Dude.
I'll find Oxford, Ohio. Ooh, that looks like that could be him.
Oh, shit.
Follower of Jesus, husband and a father. More than likely him.
Dude, yeah. All right. Guy that couldn't keep his dick in his pants, that sounds exactly like what their Facebook description would be.
Yeah.
For
he's
sure.
Probably a pastor.
Dick's down. For sure, he definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, thanks again. We'll be back soon.
We will indeed. We've got 2 episodes to release. This will be we're good. We're good. We're on track now. We'll see you guys again soon.
Doing it. Yeah.